Welcome to the Missouri Baptist Men's Basketball Coaches Show. Head Coach Matt Brock is here. I'm Harry Schrader. We're glad you're watching us today on the Spartan Digital Network. And Matt, you guys are off to a good start. You're 3-0 and scoring a ton of points and some new faces in the lineup as well. 3 games in, small sample size, but just how do you feel about the team so far?
I like where we're at. We've had some guys out that have opened up some opportunities for some younger guys to get more experience and get more reps. So I like the progress of our freshmen, and I really like where we're at right now.
Chris Buzzle gets a bunch of points in the recent game, and he's well over 1,300 points now. Really having a good start to the season, leading you guys in scoring in the early minutes. So just talk a little bit about him, the senior out of Houston.
Well, he's just consistent, and that's the best word to describe him. He works hard every day, gives 100% effort on both ends of the court all times. He's a good teammate. He's not a real vocal leader, but leads by example for sure. And you know what you're getting out of him, a night in, night out. It's not kind of like, well, what are we going to get out of him? But it's you kind of know, not taken for granted, but you can kind of count on Chris to give us some scoring and play really hard. And he's been doing that very well here in the start.
You're 3-0, scoring over 100 points a game, and yet your leading scorer from a year ago, Jared White, has missed every game so far. You've got to be encouraged that you're a deeper team than we knew ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, with freshmen, you're never sure what you're going to get. You know, you hope that eventually they're going to be ready to play, but we've got some guys that have had some chances to get in and get some significant time and have done a good job and responded well. So. We're hoping to get him back, and like you said, I think our depth is a little better maybe than we initially thought.
You guys almost have completely different units sometimes when we see you play. There's the old guys, which are juniors and seniors, and then a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. But I want to talk about those seniors. Will Harrington, your point guard, David Gabersek, one of your forwards, along with Buzzle. Those seniors give you maybe like a little bit of a cushion, a safety valve there for those young guys to learn.
Well, and it's been a real battle in practice, and every day those guys are competing, and it's been good that the freshmen have been able to close the gap a little bit. You know, early on they were just getting it handed to them on a daily basis, and they kind of got tired of that and started fighting back a little bit, and so practices have been good. But Will and David are two of our leaders and have done a really good job of not only playing on the court and practicing games, but mentoring these younger guys and showing them what we're about as a team and how we operate on and off the court, and kind of solidifying our culture from a senior leadership standpoint. So I've been very pleased with them.
When you look at Will Harrington, and he's got over 200 assists and over 200 rebounds in his career, you see a guy that's responsible. He's a guy that plays the game and knows all of the various aspects.
Well, Will can really play, and he can fill up the box score in a variety of ways. He's really probably too unselfish at times, and looks for others instead of looking for his own offense. He's shooting the ball. He's an improved shooter, but from last year, and he's just one of our best rebounders, if not our best rebounder. And when he's not on the court, as you saw in the Missouri State game, we had trouble rebounding. So he's important in a lot of ways that you don't see on the stat sheet as well. He can really defend. He's a very smart player. Understands what I want from him. He has a feel for what the team needs at any given point, and that's what senior point guards should do.
You've got all these young guys and all kinds of young guys from St. Louis, and you and I have talked about this as our first coaches show for the website. You and I have talked about this away from the website. You want to get local, and you did it really in an awesome way this year.
Well, we were able to get some quality guys to add with Jamari, who redshirted last year. So now we have 5 freshmen from the immediate local area, and kind of spread all out. So I'm excited about all 5 of them. You know, I think a couple of them were maybe a little further along. Maybe if you talked to me a month ago, and then the other guys have kind of started to come on as well. So you kind of get a little up and down of freshman seasons. Kind of they they'll have good weeks and they'll have bad weeks, and they'll show some promise, and then they'll hit that freshman wall, as they say. But I've been pleased with all of the guys, and Rick Hill's got a bright future. Plays very hard. He's a very physical player. Can really block shots, and that's something that's very hard to teach. James McKelvin has been playing really well, giving us a lift of energy off the bench. Plays extremely hard. Can rebound from the guard position.
And can dunk it.
And he can dunk. He can dunk. I think the crowd likes him because he likes to react sometimes. He's an emotional guy, which is good. And Jamari's been really good at times, especially offensively. And Luke Finley and Hassan have both really shown some promise these last couple weeks in practice. So we're happy about them. Definitely in the short term, but in the long term as well.
Jamari Robinson, you mentioned him a couple of times. 13 assists against Lincoln. I think that means 24 in 3 games. He's averaging 8 assists a game as a part-time freshman point guard. He's got a bright future.
Yeah, I mean, he led the city in assists when he was a senior in high school and won a state championship at Cardinal Ritter. So he's used to it. He just wasn't playing last year, and he's a different type of point guard from Will. So I think they complement each other really well. Will's kind of your big, strong, play over the top of you type point guard, and Jamar is more your little, quick, gonna find cracks and openings and ram it down your throat type guy. So
and he does.
Yeah, he does. And so I really like their balance between those two guys at that position.
You guys 3-0, and you haven't hit the league yet, but you've got St. Ambrose next week, and then a very tough Thanksgiving tournament. Talk about what's on the way.
Well, I told the guys after our last game, it's our schedule is just getting started. So the teams we've played, we've been able to handle, and it's going to get a lot tougher. And the older guys know that. I'm not sure the freshmen are quite convinced of it yet. I think
they think they're ready for the Lakers, right?
They're ready for Duke or Kansas. Or I think Kansas beat Duke the other night. So they want a piece of those guys. But our older guys that have been through the AMC understand how good it is, and I think it's even better this year than it was in the last year. They're going to hopefully give that message to the younger guys and relay that message to them, and hopefully in practice we can get back to competing with each other and getting better.
Before we finish, coaches sometimes sound like, man, we're just begging for fans to show up, but how important is fan support in a game? Because basketball is such an emotional, energetic game.
Oh, it is, and there's ebbs and flows to the basketball game more so than other sports, I think, just because the clock will run and then you may not get a stoppage and play for 2 or 3 minutes. And so having a strong fan presence at home especially is huge. I think they always say you're getting 6 points at home just for being home. So with a good crowd, and we've had some good crowds early on here. We had a late game the other night, but had a few people stay around and got to see some good basketball. So we're not concerned about that. We think as we play and hopefully as we continue to get better, the fans will get that. And as people kind of shift out of football mode and more into the basketball season, it always seems like January and February basketball crowds are a little better.
They're 3-0, off to a great start. St. Ambrose on Tuesday night, and then the Thanksgiving tournament. It's just getting started. Very excited. Yeah. Best of luck this season. That's head coach Matt Brock. I'm Harry Schrader. You've been watching the Basketball Coaches Show from Missouri Baptist University here on the Spartan Digital Network.